Good morning, friends. Welcome to the CVX and Grandstream webinar session. My name is Ajit. I manage India sales and channels for Grandstream. Along with me, I have our technical support director, Q, who has joined us from Los Angeles. He will help us to understand how worldwide partners and customers get benefited using Grandstream remote solutions. So friends, before I start today's presentation, I would like to answer 4 common questions about Grandstream, which every participant would have in their mind. So my first question is, what is the strength area of Grandstream? So friends, our strength area is that we are a very strong player in research and development of VoIP conferencing and Wi-Fi solutions. Today we have most comprehensive offering and end-to-end solutions for voice over IP, conferencing and Wi-Fi solutions. The second question most of the participants would be interested in is, what is the business philosophy of Grandstream? So friends, our business philosophy is mass adoption of voice over IP, conferencing and Wi-Fi solutions by offering state-of-art technology at a very competitive and affordable price. We want not only enterprise, but SMB and mid-market get benefited using Grandstream technology. So another important question from SI and partners is, how do we protect the interest of our partners in promoting and selling our solutions? So my answer to this question is, we avoid partner conflict with a clear-cut strategy of opportunity registration. And most important, we assure healthy double-digit margins to make it win-win for our partners and customers. Also, to help our channels, we have Savex Technologies, our distribution partner with a strong nationwide presence for on-time delivery and support on Grandstream product portfolio. So my final question is, which is very common from most of our partners, is, what is the USP of Grandstream? So most important USP of our product portfolio and our offering is that our unified communication solutions are license free. There is no burden on customers of year after year licensing cost. Another important USP which I would like to mention here is that our complete product portfolio is on SIP and has a very tight integration to give superior user experience. So license-free products and SIP integration are key differentiators which set us apart from other unified communication companies in the industry. So other than these 4 questions, I know you have many more questions that you want to discuss. So feel free to contact me after this webinar session and I'll be happy to answer all your questions. Just to give you a brief introduction of Grandstream as an organization. So we are a US-based company headquartered in Boston. Second largest office in US that we have is in Los Angeles, and we have an R&D center in Dallas. So founded in 2002, and today we have a manpower strength of, in fact, more than 800 people across the globe. So our product portfolio means it include complete comprehensive solutions on unified communication, which include voice over IP, Wi-Fi, and video conferencing solutions. Along with that, we have access control solutions and ATAs and gateways to support our partners and customers. So as you can see on this slide, we have presence across the globe with our support centers and supply chain centers. Moving forward, so in this presentation, today's presentation, we will talk about how worldwide partners and customers are getting benefited using Grandstream remote work solutions. So look, with this, I hand over this presentation to our technical support director, Hugh, and I request him to help us in understanding how worldwide partners and customers are getting benefited using Grandstream remote work solutions. And friends, once again, feel free to contact me after this presentation if you have any queries or questions regarding our product portfolio or association with Grandstream. Thank you. Thanks a lot. So over to you.
Thanks, Ajit. And you're absolutely correct. You know, we are living in such unprecedented times with changes that none of us have imagined in our wildest dreams. And what we want to do today is talk about those changes and how we all can adapt to continue to succeed and to continue to grow our businesses. Now, before we get started, just a reminder, if you guys have any questions during the presentation, feel free to type them into the chat window, and I'll do my best to answer your questions as we go through the presentation. I really appreciate everyone for coming today, and thanks again for being a part of the session today. Now, these days, definitely unprecedented for sure. In normal times, instead of doing a virtual webinar or a virtual meeting like we're doing today, we would be doing a series of in-person roadshows pan-India, visiting all the cities around India, visiting and interfacing with everyone here in person, and we'll discuss business opportunities, all the new things going on with Grandstream, and we'll typically follow that with a couple pints of Kingfisher. But unfortunately, things are a little bit different now, and so we have to adapt to the changes. And even before the whole pandemic, things were already changing, with technology advancing all around the world. The world has become a smaller place in a sense, where we are able to pick up the phone or dial into a virtual meeting room like today and have a meeting with anywhere from around the world at any time. And so, there's a lot of advances in technology, a lot of technology that Grandstream actually already had in place, but some changes that we've made to our portfolio to really make the best use of the situation that we're all in. And so before we get into that, I'll give you kind of a brief overview of some of the changes that we're seeing worldwide. Obviously, with COVID being, causing havoc all over the world, these changes have a particular mindset, especially with remote work. And so with the whole trend nowadays with remote work, Grandstream, for example, our worldwide offices in every country, where everyone was 100% working from home for right now up until the end of October. So we started back in March, and at the current schedule, we're hoping to get back into the office at the end of October. But there is a very, very good likelihood that that date will be pushed back, depending on how things go. And so with everyone working from home, everyone working remotely, we really had to come up with a way to be able to continue doing business and continue doing business successfully from wherever we were working. Um, with Grandstream in particular, our one of our core strengths, as Ajit has said, is our relationships. We really focus on our relationships with our partners, with the system integrators, even with the actual end users. That relationship is very, very important to us. And not being able to see people in face to face, not being able to travel and visit our partners, definitely made us think differently on how we conduct our business. And so, with Grandstream's new portfolio, it really aims to bridge that gap and overcome those challenges that we're all experiencing. Now, just a quick history, on the traditional way of working, which we all are aware of, even Grandstream, we have, a centralized location, in most cases, for most small businesses and even enterprises, it's a single location for all employees. All the communication and collaboration is done on site. You get into a meeting room, you have a meeting, too many meetings, in my opinion, but you have meetings to discuss certain strategies and certain game plans for deployment. One of the drawbacks of this is that it really limits the employee talent pool to a particular geographical area. Like in Los Angeles, before, when everyone was required to go into the office, um, we were only able to hire people that lived around that area, right? So people that live within a short driving distance or a commutable driving distance from the office. And so, when we have customers come visit our office as well, that there's always a distance restriction. So it restricts new customer growth as they're unable to visit us in person quite often. Nowadays, with the current situation worldwide, we actually started seeing this even before the pandemic, but it really, really, COVID really, really accelerated the growth of the decentralized office, as you would say. A lot of us, we still have physical offices, but for example, with Grandstream, all of our workers are remote. Once we start returning to some sort of normalcy, where we're able to go back to the office, we've already set in place the strategies where not everyone is required to be in the office any longer. Going forward, for the foreseeable future, we would have just some people purely on remote work, and we have some people that can go into the office a couple of days a week, for example. So it's right now we don't see at least for Grandstream, the return to normalcy that we had pre-pandemic. So you see that shift, and you have to think about the different types of technologies that you have to deploy for that type of scenario. And with the current organizational structure, again, it's decentralized. You have a mix of in-office, remote, and even traveling employees. Not right now for a lot of us, but hopefully that traveling will be back as part of the abilities that we have. The good thing is that being that we do not require physical presence in a physical office every day, you have to think about the fact that we actually now have the ability to recruit talent really from anywhere in the world. When you remove that physical restriction, that geographical restriction, your talent pool has now exponentially grown, right? So, in California, we can hire someone on the other side of the US. We can hire someone in Florida, or we can even hire people in different countries. We can hire people in India, for example, because there is no geographical restriction. And what happens, we found, is that it also provides a quicker adoption and response for distant customers. Um, in the U.S., there really is 3 different time zones. It's a 3-hour difference, time difference from one side of the country to the other. And with the remote working, uh, that time difference actually doesn't really apply any longer. Yeah, at least for myself, I find myself, the fact that I don't have to get up in the morning to get ready and then drive an hour to get to the office, sit through the traffic. I save all of that time that I spend to get to the office. I find myself being able to spend that time with customers, um, especially customers on a different time zone. Um, and same for since I also deal with the Asia Pacific region, I'm able to also communicate with customers from across the globe, and the time really doesn't come into play as much. Another added benefit of the situation that we're currently in is the lower operational costs for the company. Um, when everyone is in the office, utility bills, for example, get exponentially higher. Office supplies, office perks, even internet usage, for example, is exponentially higher. But with less people in the office, the corporation actually saves money on that operating side. Right. And so here are some numbers that you might find interesting. Since 2005, work at home positions have actually grown by 173%. Since the pandemic, I would say that's a 4-digit growth worldwide. So things have been inching towards the work from home position even prior to the pandemic, and definitely accelerated since then. Initial studies have shown that employees can be up to 13% more productive when working remote. And I know that this is just the beginning of the whole change, the whole shift to working remote. For a lot of us, it's been almost 6 months now. And to all of our surprise, employees have been more productive working remotely than in the office. I, for one, personally enjoy working from home because, as much as I love my colleagues, sometimes when I'm working on something that requires concentration, I really don't want someone walking into my office asking a million questions. I don't have those types of distractions at home, although there are different distractions, but not those type of distractions. I find the number one distraction for me at home would be the refrigerator. I often find myself visiting the refrigerator quite a bit. I think I've gained at least 5 kilograms since the working from home has started. So definitely gotta be careful on that. Right. Sometimes depending on I guess how many kids you have, but it can be less stressful working from home, and it really gives you a better work-life balance. And that's something that's important, especially for the younger generation, the millennial generation. They really seek that work-life balance. Sometimes you get old school people like myself, where that's less of an importance. But for the younger generation, that's probably the number one on their list. And the younger generation, and we have to accept the fact that the younger generation does bring a new pool of talent that can benefit an organization. And lastly, remote workers, according to studies, are 13% more likely to stay with their current employers within the next 5 years. Just the combination of flexibility the work-life balance, and being slightly less stressful work environment really helps to retain the talent that you have worked so hard to gather throughout these years. Okay, and so we just heard of all of these great benefits, but really there are a lot of challenges to remote work as well. Obviously, from a technology perspective, from your IT team or your IT administrator, um, setting up the appropriate security protocols and deploying the appropriate technologies for all the workers to work remotely is a challenge. Um, but there are other challenges in terms of the business itself. One of the biggest drawbacks of remote work actually is the negative impact that it has on team collaboration and productivity. Um, you know, being able to sit in a meeting room and have a very concentrated conversation with your colleagues, or, like having a brainstorming session, for example, that experience is very hard to reproduce. Even, I would say, with all of the technologies that we have available today, um, it's a very unique environment that we cannot recreate. But of course, with the technologies advancing at a rapid pace, especially during the pandemic, we're one of the goals is really to try to recreate that. And with Grandstream, how can we do that? How can we recreate that environment where employees as well as clients work together and collaborate just as if they were in the same room, right? And the answer is to utilize remote work technology that really has the main purpose of this remote work technology is to promote team collaboration. And that's what we here at Grandstream are trying to do, especially with our new portfolio. Okay. And, in order to get remote work to be successful, there are some technology solutions that you must deploy. For example, you have to use tools for the management, the senior managers, the team leads, etc., to really synchronize all of the planning and the coordination of teams. Even though we're working remotely, we still have to manage expectations, manage projects, manage timelines. And so we have to use tools that allow us to do that. We can use software that recreates that collaboration space, not on the physical sense, but now on a virtual and online realm, such as what we're doing here. Excuse me one second. And in addition to the software, hardware must be deployed to allow us to communicate effectively with one another. And lastly, IT tools for linking different types of communication together, and having, like for example, having people using different technologies to be able to collaborate in a same meeting room, like we're having today. We have, I see here, we have people, some people today that have joined via the browser. Some have joined via their mobile phone, some via their tablet, and some via the GVC. So we have different types of technologies, but we're able to get into a single location and collaborate. And so with that being said, we really want to introduce some of the new products that we have in our portfolio that aim at making this collaboration work more effectively in the changing conditions that we're all experiencing worldwide. Everyone has been using IPVideoTalk for quite some time. We're using IPVideoTalk now. But with the pandemic, especially, and the whole shift to the remote work, um, for those of you that have noticed, we've made quite a bit of updates to IPVideoTalk in the recent months. We revamped the whole ecosystem in terms of plans and capacities. I don't know if anyone remembers before, but uh, be, pre-pandemic, our basic plan only allowed 3 participants in a meeting. But now, with the whole demand for remote work, we've actually increased that to 50 participants for free. So that's our lowest plan, and we have plans with options that can go up to 5,000 participants in a webinar. So we've scaled it, we've increased the performance, we've also added additional POPs or points of presence worldwide, so that everyone can have that better experience when using IPVideoTalk. And so we see the growth in that collaboration tool set, and we've recently released some new products that really enhances the whole experience. We just on August 4th, that's about 10 days ago or 15 days ago, we finally released our lineup of USB headsets for the public. I know it's been a a long time coming. We've been, by popular request for years and years and years, for Grandstream to come up with a lineup of headsets, and we finally did it. This is our first rollout, and they're USB wired headsets, and you'll see that line continue to expand within the coming months. We've also released a new USB webcam as well, which has been a tremendous success, especially being the fact that it's USB. It works with any third-party platform, not just with IPVideoTalk. It can work with any platform out there as well. And so we'll dig a little bit deeper into this new product portfolio, and stick around at the end, because I do have some surprises for you. We're going to showcase or give you a very, very early sneak peek at some of the additional products, some of the additional exciting products that we have coming out that I think everyone here will enjoy. So stick around for that. Again, for anyone that didn't hear me before, feel free to type in your questions in the chat window at any time, and we'll try to answer them as we go along. All right, to give you a brief overview of Grandstream's IPVideoTalk, which is the very service that you're using today. It's Grandstream's very own cloud-based collaboration system, not just for webinars, but also for video meetings. We also have whiteboarding features and screen sharing features that will allow you to collaborate with your colleagues. We support up to 1080p video streams with all HD audio feeds. Again, we have screen and content sharing. We have meeting and webinar modes. We also have group and private chats, along with file sharing within those chat windows. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat window on your lower right-hand side. With all of our plans, we have the option for you to record all of your meetings and store them in the cloud, and you can access those recordings from anywhere that you have internet access. And the best part is you get all of these meeting reports and all of the analytics at the touch of a button. Okay, so that's just a brief overview. For additional information on IPVideoTalk, please visit IPVideoTalk.com. It's a very simple and easy platform to use. I think, actually, we had a conversation the other day amongst some of us, and we've been using IPVideoTalk for quite some time, but we've also used many of the other platforms as well. Depending on the customer or the partner that we're talking with and what they use, So we've had experience with many different platforms, and we had to give ourselves a pat on the back because through all of this time, I can't remember ever experiencing an issue with IPVideoTalk. We've never had an issue where any of the services were down or interrupted at any time. So it's that's quite impressive, given the fact that the traffic to the IPVideoTalk services has increased exponentially within the past few months. That's something that we can all be proud of. Now, the best thing about IPVideoTalk, being that it's a cloud-based collaboration system, is that you're really able to access and join meetings from anywhere at any time. When you have your on-prem video conferencing systems, for example, yeah, technically you can meet from anywhere, but then you have to go through all of the process of configuring your firewall, doing the port forwarding. Then you have to deal with NAT issues, so it can be quite cumbersome. But with the cloud-based service like IPVideoTalk, it makes it very easy, especially for IT administrators, to not have to worry about those security policies. Now you can, as mentioned earlier, you can join the meetings using any type of technology that you're currently using, whether it be your web browser, as a lot of you guys are on now. You can join via the mobile or smartphone apps that we have, smartphone and tablet apps, both on iOS and on Android. You can, if you don't have access to a smartphone at a particular moment, you can actually call in to your landlines and using your landline and your cell phones, as well as your VoIP trunk. And of course, you can always join using the GVC series of conferencing devices that Grandstream offers. Now, with our new personal collaboration devices, dubbed the GUV series, we currently have two different types of products within that category. One is the USB webcam, as mentioned, and a pair of USB headsets. You'll see in the coming months that this lineup will expand quite a bit, so stay tuned for new announcements regarding the GUV series. Now, the GUV series, it was really designed to be an easy and effective communication tool. That's why we stuck with USB. It's wired and is USB. It's meant to be plug and play. You simply just plug it into your PC or your laptop. Don't have to worry about any of the drivers. Everything should work out of the box, just plug and play. With that being said, being that it's a USB device, you also don't have to worry about it not working with any of your applications. Because it's USB, it is recognized by software as a part of your system resources. So in theory, it should work with any application or program or software that you're using. Of course, our headsets also work with our lineup of IP phones as well. Our GRP series and our GXV series. So they can actually act as really good headsets for your IP phones. So what, in terms of remote work, I find, at least in my personal experience, with working from home and having virtual meetings all day long, I really needed something that I can use for long periods of time, and have it be comfortable, especially and of course be high quality, offer high quality voice, high quality video. And that's where our headsets and USB cams come into play. With my laptop, I'm using a MacBook Pro. And for some weird reason, all of Apple's laptops, with the high premium that it commands, it still only has a minimal, very, very basic built-in camera that only does 720p. I still don't understand why they do that, but with the Grandstream GUV series, it offers way better quality than many built-in cameras in laptops. And for those working from home that don't have laptops, that are using desktops, this is a great addition. They can just mount this on top of the monitor and make it very easy to use. With the GUV headsets, I'm able to use this for webinars like I am today, able to use it for meetings, and with the comfortable cushions that we have on these headsets, I'm able to use them for long periods of time. So first, we'll get into a little bit more detail about the GUV 3100. As mentioned, it provides much better quality than a lot of built-in cameras in laptops because it supports up to 1080p video, whereas in a lot of laptops, like my laptop, it's 720p. It has built-in microphones as well, so it can act as an all-in-one device. The great thing about the USB or the GUV microphones is that there are two of them. There are two cardioid microphones that has a really, really good pickup range of 1 meter. And with two microphones, you're able to pick up and noise cancel at the same time. And with a wider angle, field of view angle than traditional laptops, you're able to get more into the picture. It's compact and it's very easy for transportation. It's small enough so that you can put it on top of your laptop screen or on top of your monitor screen. It's plug and play, no software needed. And it has adjustable video settings where you can adjust the brightness, the resolution, saturation, etc. Again, being that it is a USB device, it's compatible with all third-party communication platforms. Now with the GUV 3000 and the 3005, our first try at headsets, we went with a USB connection just for flexibility and compatibility. What you'll see in the future that we will have wireless headphones coming out, but for a purely user experience, ease of use user experience, we went with the USB wired connection. Now, both of these headsets feature noise canceling technology. That way, when you're at home, working from home, with, for example, your family or myself, I have 2 daughters and 2 dogs that run wild in the background. It really helps to cancel a lot of that noise so that I can focus on the conversations that I'm having, whether it be with a partner or with a customer. It has inline controls, to make it easier for you to adjust, say for example, the volume or mute or unmute. Everything is built in with light indicators that can indicate or tell you whether or not you're on mute or not. Lastly, the headbands are adjustable with soft ear cushions on both models, being with the GUV 3005 having a bigger cushion and more comfort. Now with the noise canceling microphone, it minimizes the background noise that you send out to the other end of the party. Not just so you have not just the noise canceling on your side, but it cancels the noise when you send it out to the other party as well. That way, it can ensure that they receive crystal clear audio. We utilize Grandstream's patent pending noise shield technology, which aims to reduce or eliminate background noises such as typing on a keyboard or ruffling of papers. As with our GUV 3000, GV 3100, these headsets are also USB, so that you can pair with laptops, computers, IP phones, or any other devices. The GUV 3005 has busy-light indicators on the earmuffs, so that your family or other people around you can tell if you're on a call or if you're busy. And so, as you can see, with these new personal collaboration devices, it really was a natural addition to our portfolio. But if you really think about it, and especially if you think about what Grandstream has been doing all of these years, all of our existing equipment really was built and is capable of remote work already. With our IP phones and our UCMs, you're able to connect remotely from anywhere that you're working. Enterprises that have been using Grandstream, we found, have had a much easier time transitioning to the new working environment as opposed to people that were on traditional telephone equipment. A lot of companies I've seen worldwide, in India, Pan-India, all over Asia, as well as North America, that were using Grandstream UCMs and IP phones. All they had to do was actually take their IP phones off their desk and take them home. And their IT team already had everything configured for remote work. And not just that, but their IT team or their network administrator was also able to utilize GDMS, our cloud-based management platform, to make sure that all of the phones are deployed properly. So everything was already in place in terms of what Grandstream has been doing, but we've really added, some quality and convenience to the whole process with the personal collaboration devices, the headsets and the webcams. With our new collaboration devices, we really try to aim them at, particular target users. As mentioned in the previous slide, there are three main types of workers in the current organizational structure. One is the remote worker, which most of us have experience with. For those countries that have allowed people to return to work on premise, you have your part-time commuter, those that don't have to come into the office all the time, but only some of the time. And the last one, for those that are traveling, definitely makes me envious. Hopefully that the day will return when we get to travel again. But for those high travel deal makers, having these personal collaboration devices with them really helps out. And we'll cover that details in the next few slides. Now, with the remote workers like ourselves, all of our working day is spent working from home. And even though we are remote, we still require the ability to have professional communications with our partners. And with the GUV series, it helps to drive that productive collaboration because you're not spending your time asking, what did you say? Can you repeat that? With the HD audio that's provided, HD audio and video with the GUV series, you can ensure that you're able to absorb all of the information that is being relayed. And of course, it helps elevate the professionalism of workspace with clients. Even though you're working from home, a lot of people don't have dedicated workspaces within their home to conduct meetings. But with the GUV series headphones, they're able to cancel out all of those noises, the background noises, so that you can have a professional meeting. For the part-time commuter, they need a solution at home that can also be used in the office. One of the other challenges of remote work, especially for organizations and enterprises, is that they either did not have the ability to or did not want to buy a second set of equipment for their workers to take home. They already have that set of, say, for example, IP phones in the office, and it'll be just very costly to buy a second set, especially with the uncertainty of not knowing when things will return to normal. And if things return to normal, will they now have all of these extra devices that will not be used? And so, it's very important to be able to have a cost-effective solution for these workers that go in and out of the office all of the time. And with the GUV series, for example, in a scenario, they can have an IP phone in their office, and when they're in the office, they can plug their headset into the IP phone in the office and have their calls that way. Or when they're at home, they can leave their IP phone in the office and take their headset with them and have their calls connected to their laptop. That way, they don't have to, the organization does not have to worry about having additional equipment that will not be utilized when things return to normal. Lastly, with your high travel deal maker, these are really mobile professionals. And having high quality audio and video is a real necessity, especially with them being so mobile. They're in environments where there are a lot of distractions and a lot of noise. And with the GUV series being so compact and easily transportable, it's a great addition to their arsenal. Everything can connect to their laptop, so wherever they are, they're able to connect a headset or a USB webcam, and it basically turns not just their hotel space, but wherever they are, whether it be at the airport or at a coffee shop or at a restaurant, it turns that space into a professional office environment. And so, I think everyone has a clear picture of where we're going in terms of adapting to the current working environment worldwide. With our personal collaboration devices, the GUV series, we're really aiming to ensure that the mobile workforce has all of the tools that they need to succeed. Any questions so far, guys? While we're answering questions, I'll just go ahead and put this up there if you guys wanted to look at the sources for some of the data that we've pulled. These are some of the sources. But right now, I'll just answer a few questions before we go forward. So we have a question. What is the main difference between the GUV 3000 and the GUV 3005 headset apart from the light? Definitely the number one difference is the form factor. With the GUV 3005 having the bigger cans and the bigger drivers for the speakers. The other main difference is that the frequency of the audio frequency that is supported on each. Now, both of these are HD headsets, but the GUV 3000 supports a maximum frequency of 7 kilohertz, whereas the GUV 3005 supports a maximum frequency of 20 kilohertz. So that's a much higher frequency range on the GUV 3005. And I guess that really just translates into better audio quality overall. I have another question. When can we expect the cloud in India? I'm assuming this is asking when Grandstream will have a point of presence in India for IPVideoTalk. Hopefully soon, Swapnil. We're working on it. The more you guys use it, the more reason we have to open up a point of presence in India. Hope that answers your question. Another question, what type of lens is used in the GUV 3000 or 3100 webcam? It's a 2 megapixel sensor. Supports up to 1080p at 60 frames per second. Now, one thing I'll mention that wasn't mentioned in any of our slides is that our USB cameras support H.264, H.265, YYUV, and MJPEG streams. What that means is that the camera itself is doing all of the encoding and decoding of those video streams so that your PC or laptop does not have to use its own computing resources to do it. A lot of the consumer grade webcams that you buy for very cheap, they do not process that and requires and depends on the computing power of your machine in order to decode and encode those video streams. So just a bit of FYI there. I don't know the brand of lens in the GUV. I can find that information out, and I'll let you know. Another question, does a GUV 3100 have autofocus? Yes, it does. It does have autofocus and auto brightness adjustments. Thank you for asking. So I'm going to try to answer just questions that are relevant to today's topic. I know, I wish we were doing this in person where I can sit down with everyone and answer all of their other questions. But for the sake of time, I'll try to answer just questions that are relevant to today's presentation. Okay. All right. So going forward, as mentioned on the first slide, hang on real quick. Let me just repeat this so that because I know we're getting a lot of questions on what is the make and model of the lens on the webcam. I don't have that answer right now for everyone. What we'll do is we'll send that out along with the follow-up. So everyone who's joined this webinar, we'll send out the make and model of the lens on the camera for everyone via email. So I apologize, I don't have that information handy now, but I'll get that information for you. Okay, so going forward, as mentioned in the previous slide, technology is changing constantly. The world is changing, the way we work is changing, and all of us, we really need to have the ability to adapt to those changes in order to continue to succeed. And with Grandstream, that means coming out with new products, coming out with new services that can help you succeed in the ever-changing environment. And as promised earlier, we have an exciting sneak peek into some of the new products and services that Grandstream is coming out in the next few months. Now, these are, again, it's going to be a very, very brief sneak peek. Each of these products that I'm about to show can have its own webinar, but we'll try to be brief and just give you a sneak peek. Just stay in contact. If you haven't already, please sign up for Partner Connect, which is a partner portal that we have available for all partners to not only get priority technical support, but also get updated news and product announcements ahead of the general public. So please feel free, visit partnerconnect.grandstream.com and sign up. Please list SaveX as your distributor, and once your application is approved, you'll have access to all of the great features of Partner Connect. I think some of you guys have already heard that Grandstream is releasing a new series of IPPBXs, and here it is. It is the UCM 6300 series. This is our next generation of IPPBXs, on-premise IPPBX appliance. It really is a true enterprise-grade unified communication solution, not just for phone calls, but also for video conferencing as well. It has a much increased capacity over the 6200 series, as well as a built-in video conferencing platform. Whatever you see here in IPVideoTalk, most of the features in IPVideoTalk can be achieved within the UCM 6300 itself on premise and on your own device. You can have this collaboration suite as part of your whole unified communication solution. It has built-in high availability for hot standby. Unlike with our UCM 6200 series, which did not have high availability will be included for every model within our new series. Previously, we only had one model, which was the UCM 6510 that had high availability available. With the UCM 6300, it's included in every single one of the model within the lineup. And lastly, it has built-in support for UCM Remote Connect. Now, for those of you who have not heard of UCM Remote Connect, hang tight. We'll get into more detail on this new service in the later slide. But every model of the UCM 6300 series will have native support for UCM Remote Connect. And so what we're trying to do with the UCM series is really build a unified communications and collaboration ecosystem. You can build this using the UCM 6300 series as your communications platform, but you can also add on to it the new Grandstream Wave suite of applications. What this includes is the Grandstream Wave web application, where you'll be able to make your calls, join conferences, join your video conferences using just a web browser. We'll also have the Grandstream Wave mobile app, where you'll be able to communicate using any smartphone or tablet. And lastly, we'll be releasing a new Grandstream Wave desktop application for those that prefer to use an application on their PC or Mac instead of the web browser. As part of this ecosystem, or a major part of this ecosystem, I should say, is the UCM Remote Connect. And of course, all of our award-winning IP endpoints that you can connect up with the UCM series. All right, now for UCM Remote Connect. This is really all I can share with you guys at the moment. I know there's going to be a lot of questions on UCM Remote Connect. I'll try to answer as much as I can, but please, you'll have to stay tuned for more details. But UCM Remote Connect, what it is really just a cloud-based NAT traversal service that Grandstream would be providing as part of our GDMS management platform. What it allows you to do is it allows you to have a hassle-free work from home or remote audio, video communication and collaboration. I know a lot of us that ever since this change in working arrangements, you've probably dealt with customers who wanted to have their remote IP phones and have it communicate with their on-premise IPPX, such as a UCM or any other branded IPPX. And yes, it's possible, but it can be involving, with the security policies, depending on the security policies that the organization has in place, as well as you have to do all of the firewall port forwarding. You have to secure all of the ports. It's just a lot involved into getting it to work properly. And a lot of times, everything is configured properly within the enterprise, but on the remote workers' personal network, there's going to be some NAT issues involved there too, which it'll be even more challenging for IT managers to troubleshoot and fix. What UCM Remote Connect does is it eliminates all of that and has a connector in the cloud so that you can connect your remote extensions to your on-premise UCM. I guess you can sort of think of it as a cloud-based SBC, right? Because that's really what an SBC does. And because it's part of the GDMS ecosystem, it provides an IT-friendly remote management capabilities for not just the UCM, but for the attached endpoints. It's zero touch and supported out of the box in the UCM 6300 series. And I think I'm gonna stop there. I could keep talking about UCM Remote Connect, but I'll stop there. I'm sorry, but you guys are gonna have to stay tuned for more details. We'll be releasing more details on this new service very very soon. All right. In terms of before we go into the next product, let me answer some questions really quick, because I know with UCM Remote Connect, there are lots and lots of questions. Okay. Well, this is a different question, not related, but I'll answer it anyways. The question is Grandstream planning for a mobile app for the GWN series, as other brands have, both web managed and app managed? Actually, we already have a mobile app for the GWN series. It's called GWN Cloud. You can download that now. You'll be able to manage your network, and you'll be able to add access points to your GWN Cloud very easily by just scanning the barcode using the camera on your IP phone. Another question, does the UCM 6300 series support logical partitioning to prevent toll bypass? I know this is kind of an India only requirement for logical partitioning. The UCM 6300 does not do logical partitioning. I know because there's some restrictions, government restrictions in India for communications between traditional lines and SIP trunks. But we do not have logical partitioning. You would have to use separate devices. Tapan, what is the scheduled launch? I'll answer that one for you. Right now, the UCM 6300, we're hoping to get it launched sometime in mid or late September. So we'll hopefully get that out to you. How many video calls can we make with the UCM 6300. I believe on the UCM 6308, it supports up to 70 video feeds on just a device. Okay, and seems like all of the relevant questions. I guess one more for the video feeds, do we have to buy any license? The great thing about the UCM 6300 series, just the same as the UCM 6200 series, all of the features are included out of the box with no licensing or recurring annual fees. All of the features are there from day one. It's yours when you purchase the device. Tapan asks, he suggests that we start a support team in India. Hey, we're working on it, Tapan. You know, once things get better, we're hoping to support to have a local team there in India to help all of our friends that have joined today. Okay. All right, so I know you guys have a lot more questions on UCM Remote Connect, but I'm going to have to ask you guys to stay tuned for more details. We will be having a separate webinar specifically on the UCM 6300 and the UCM Remote Connect in the very near future. So stay tuned. We'll have that schedule sent out, and that'll be a very exciting webinar where we can focus all of our time on those products and solutions. But today, to go with the remote work and work from home theme, we do have some new devices that follow within that that work line. One is the GVC 3212. It's a personal IPVideoTalk endpoint. For most of you, you've already have experience with our video conferencing lineup, our GVC series, or GVC 3200 series, and the GVC 3210. Now, those devices previously were aimed at larger conference rooms, as well as the huddle room when you're talking about the GVC 3210. The GVC 3212 is aimed more for the personal use. So, for example, I can put this on top of my TV at home and turn my TV into a personal IPVideoTalk conferencing solution. It's a much smaller device that fits perfectly on top of a TV, has one HDMI output for up to 1080p resolution, has a really wide angle lens, 60-degree field of view wide angle lens. That way you can capture all that you need to see within, say, your home office, for example. It has dual cardioid microphones that has a pickup range of up to 3 meters. Again, we'll be including Grandstream's patent pending noise shield technology so that you can cancel out all of that background noise. And it also supports wireless screen sharing. This time, it supports Miracast, AirPlay, as well as Chromecast. Previously, we only supported Miracast, but with the new generation devices, we're trying to support all of the wireless screen sharing protocols. So whether you're using an Apple, Windows, or Android device, you'll be able to wirelessly share your screen and share your content through this device. Now, further down the line, we have the much awaited update to our higher end of the spectrum conferencing devices. The GVC 3220 is the new Ultra HD multimedia conferencing system. What sets it apart is that it's an all-in-one device, up to 4K support, and the MCU is built right into the device. You do not need to buy a separate MCU, camera, or microphone. Everything is included in a single device, as an all-in-one device. With the built-in MCU, um, you're able to do, I think this is inaccurate. I believe you're able to do up to 9-way 1080p video calls, up to 12-way 720p, but I'll confirm that. Just know that the built-in MCU is quite capable for a video conference of a medium-sized business. With the updated processor and updating computing capability, the GVC 3200 will include smart AI integration. All of the great new features such as face tracking, facial recognition, background blurring, etc., will be supported on this new device. And of course, it also supports all of the wireless screen sharing protocols that we've mentioned before with Miracast, AirPlay, and Chromecast. That's I really wasn't kidding when I said that was a very quick and brief sneak peek on our upcoming devices. I know that the webinar was really just focused on the work from home solutions and the ever-changing ways that we're doing business, but I just really wanted to throw in a little bit of that upcoming sneak peek for everyone, because I find it very exciting. Now, for more details on the upcoming products, of course, we'll be holding additional webinars in the very near future. So stay tuned for that schedule from SaveX and from Grandstream. We'll definitely provide more details on each of those products on those particular webinars. But yeah, in terms of work from home, things have been, I guess, crazy to say the least. But I'm happy to be a part of an organization that recognizes those changes and is flexible enough to be able to adapt with the changes. Grandstream, we're still going strong, thanks to partners like yourself who not only have the passion for the technology, but the passion to succeed. And with SaveX, Grandstream and SaveX, we're here to ensure that your business continues to grow even with the pandemic. Okay, so exciting new products coming out for the changing world. We have some questions that we'll answer. For those of you who want to ask some questions, feel free to ask them via the chat window or the Q&A window. We'll try to get through as many of them as we can. All right, let's see here. So a lot of questions regarding Microsoft Teams and Zoom, whether or not they're supported on the GVCs. Yep, both applications are supported on the GVC 3220s. The GVC 3212, which is the IPVideoTalk endpoint, that one is specifically built just for IPVideoTalk. With the GVC 3220, that is running on Android 9, so you'll be able to download and run those applications. All right. But that was a great question. Mega asked, is a screen sharing function available on the GVC 3210? Yes, it is. You can actually screen share using the GVC 3210 in several different ways. One is via the HDMI input port. You can connect the HDMI port to your computer and you'll be able to screen share that way. The other way is, of course, by joining the meeting using your web browser and sharing it that way as well. Okay. Santosh asked, through the GVC and IPVideoTalk, how many users can log in? The answer to the question would be, it depends on the plan that you're using or that you have signed up for. The basic plan supports up to 50 users. The professional plan supports up to 100 users. And the business plan supports up to, I believe, 150 users. You can also um, add additional features to your plan that gives you the ability to have up to 300 users per meeting or up to 5,000 users in a webinar. Cool. Santosh asked, is the IPVideoTalk solution, can it be a premises-based solution or just cloud-based solution? We actually do have a premise-based solution called IPVT10, which takes all of the features of IPVideoTalk and put that into an on-premises appliance. It's a 2U server that you can install on-premise, and you have full control over all security aspects. Cool. These are some great questions, guys. I appreciate everyone asking all these questions. I think Ajit has also been doing a tremendous job of answering all of the questions. I know we have quite a number of participants today. I'm trying to get to as many questions as I can. I appreciate everyone asking. Cool. But yeah, that really wraps up the content that we have for today. With all of the new exciting products that we have coming out, it's going to make for exciting times going forward. If at any time you have any questions regarding these new products, feel free to contact us or contact SaveX for additional information as well as pricing and availability. Ajit, did you want to say any parting words?
Thanks for a wonderful presentation and making us understand in such layman language what work solutions can help in improving the productivity as well as keep connected with the team members. So most of the team participants already have my contacts, and those who don't have my contacts, I am sharing my contacts in the chat. So feel free to reach me anytime after this session for queries. I'll be happy to joint calls with your customers or partners. And thanks once for taking out time. We will keep on organizing these kind of webinars to keep you posted and updated on the latest Grandstream technologies. So many products are on roadmap, which I am sure will help our partners and customers to grow their jointly with Grandstream. So thank you, Savex team, for all your contribution. Once again taking out your time and joining this webinar. Thank you, Hugh, for joining us in such a late hour at Los Angeles. I know it is almost 11:30 p.m. in night for you, but it really helped. So with this, we would like to end up this session, and I am sharing my contact in the chat window.
Yeah, we'll definitely send follow-up emails for everyone to answer some of the questions that you've asked. But now we have Ajit's mobile number. I can call him all the time now.
So I'll be happy means to answer all your queries. Feel free to reach me on my mobile phone. Thank you once again for joining the session. Thank you, Hugh, for helping us in understanding the technology, and we will keep you bothering in future also for all these kind of webinars. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful day.